Hey there, I'm Darlene Grover. But actually, I was Darlene Jean Whittemore, and I was born July the 10th, 1936, as the third in my family. I have two brothers, Dean and Dale, and then myself. And I was born right north of Highway 4, which is north of Council Grove. And at that time, it was a very small community, Chalk, which is no longer there. Okay, walking in the store and everything, all the groceries and everything was downstairs, and in the back, we went upstairs to just get together, different things going on. And the main thing, too, about that community was a blacksmith that's just around the corner. And I remember that, and I remember going into the telephone building with the one that took our number and put in the board and everything. And we lived in that house for about 5 years and moved on around the corner. And from there, I could still see the road coming down on Highway 4. Then also, the school was, I think, 2 to 3 miles from us. I'm not sure. But in the summer before I started school, my dad wanted me to learn how to ride a horse, and I was scared of that. He plowed a little area, and he put me on the horse, and I did not want to stay on, so I would fall off on the freshly plowed ground. But I learned, and the three of us rode one horse at first, going to a one-room school, and I was on the very back, and my older brother, that is about 5 years older than me, he jumped a little ditch, and so of course I fell off, pulled my other brother Dale off, and but we were all fine and went on and rode that horse to school for the rest of the year. My dad, he was a wonderful, soft-hearted man, and my mother was she was a cook at the Council Grove Hospital for 10 years, the main cook. She was very good. I'm not even sure if she graduated from the 8th grade. And I was a stinker, as I just knew something was not right later on. Uh, when I was living there in Salina, I called my aunts and said, let's celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary. And so, okay, which we did. And come to find out, in later years, I went down to the courthouse in Emporia, and they were married in 1931. My brother was born in November of 1931, but Mom always said she was married in 1930. And I have the Bible that she tore the middle out. And so I have the Bible that her sister Esther gave her without the middle.
What did your dad do for a living?
He was a farmer. For the first 5 years of my life, I would say he was on the road construction. He ran the big maintainers and so on and so forth. And then when they moved to that first move, in the house up on the hill, Mother had to walk down 2 blocks or whatever to bring up water every day. We did not have running water, and of course we did not have indoor plumbing or any of that. Big old wash tub, the round one, and I think I was usually first, so that I remember. I don't really know if my brothers, how they worked it out. It's just big old wash tub and put the water in, and it's set by the big old pot-bellied stove and the heat and everything. And took my bath and probably first and probably had to leave the room. I don't really remember how the boys got in there. And there, the house that was north of Council Grove, why I remember getting the flu and so forth in the middle of the night. I would wake up and could not breathe. I was stopped up, and my dad would get me. We would go downstairs by the potbelly stove, and he would give me, I'm not positive what, he put some sugar in the spoon, whether it was coal oil or some kind of form that I had to drink, but it broke up the phlegm, and I could breathe. And one other thing, there was a time or two with bad earaches, he would blow smoke in my ear, and he'd put the cotton in the ear. And so it's altogether different life than what we have today. But once I got to school, I had overalls on over my dress, but I had to take all my pants and everything off because girls at that time had to wear dresses. And so, of course, we had the outside bathroom and everything. This side was the girls, and on the other side was the boys. And remember that quite well. And Dad would bring the horse or fix for the horses during the summertime. He put hay and everything in a little shed there. And so when we got to school, we had to take the saddle off and everything, and the horse would stay in the shed till after school and then right on home. Okay, I was there for the first grade up north of Council Grove. And then we moved down closer to Council Grove. But there too, we still had to ride horses to school. But we had two horses at that time. Dean was on one, and Dale and I was on the other horse. And we kind of followed the creek on. And the school I went to was Upper Big John, which is right east of Council Grove, off of Highway 56. And that is now where the fairground is for Morris County. And around that area also was the camp for during World War II, where the prisoners would come. And one day we was out by the fence and standing there, watched the prisoners come by in a truck. They was on going to a farm to help a farmer. And as a little second grader, I waved at the prisoners, and another little girl just older than me just got after me. You don't wave at those Germans. And one school, I was the only girl with 11 boys for a year, and it was different. And at home, I was more or less by myself growing up. I had my little doggie, and on past that was a poor farm where actually people would come, and I didn't know that much about it, but the building is still there, north and east of Council Grove. I was in 4-H. This is after we moved out to Wilsey. And Wilsey is a town just south of 56, halfway in between Harrington and Council Grove. But I had a little calf. I don't remember the name of that calf either. And I was so proud of that little calf. I took it down to the fair, and I was cleaning it up and everything to show it off. And all of a sudden, I got kicked. I didn't realize what it was or anything. And I looked around, I couldn't see anything. So I started cleaning again. I got kicked again. Just remember things like that. And we took chickens to show off, and some baking and different things. I would gather the eggs, yes, and I also had to clean out the separator. And I liked skim milk. And we used the cream too. We made our own butter. And later on, I remember too buying the margarine in the big sacks and putting the dye in, and had to work the dye in to make it yellow. Well, yeah, I was basically just raised alone as one girl with my two brothers that went outside and helped dad and did this and that. And I didn't have any close friends to sleep over or anything like that until I got to high school. And then I had two real good buddies that now are both gone early in life. And it's just kind of hard to group with people. I don't have the luxury that kids run out and play with their friends and all this and that, but I learn doing the best I can.